You've just bought a $3 shirt. It arrived in 2 days. It fits. It's cute. You post a selfie. You get likes. But have you ever wondered who made it? Where they were? How much they were paid? Somewhere right now a young woman is stitching your order in a locked room, working 18-hour days for less than the price of a cup of coffee. She doesn't get weekends. She doesn't get Wi-Fi. She doesn't even know what TikTok is, but her hands bleeding and fast-built the brand flooding your feed. This is the story behind the clothes you wear, but never think about. This is SHEIN. Start small. A late-night scroll, a shiny app, a top that costs less than your morning latte. Add to cart, done. The dopamine rush hits harder than the fabric ever could. You're not just shopping. You're feeding something deeper, a culture of more, faster, cheaper. SHEIN didn't just join this culture. It mastered it. It's not just a brand. It's a system, a machine, a billion-dollar empire born not from fashion, but from algorithms. Most people can't even pronounce it correctly. Some say SHEIN, others say SHEIN. It's actually SHEIN. But the brand doesn't really care what you call it. No physical stores, no celebrity founder on magazine covers, no origin story romanticized in documentaries. Just data, silence, and speed. Founded in China in 2008, SHEIN was once a niche online wedding dress shop. Quiet, local, unremarkable. But in the 2010s, it pivoted to women's fashion. It saw the power of social media before most did. It saw TikTok not just as entertainment, but as a virtual runway. And it realized if it could predict what people wanted before they even knew they wanted it, it could dominate the world. Today, it uploads over 10,000 new products. Not per year, not per month, per day. Thousands of shirts, skirts, shoes, bags photographed, priced, tagged, and sold at lightning speed. How? Data. The platform scans Instagram trends, TikTok dances, Pinterest boards, and even your search bar. It doesn't wait for seasons. It doesn't forecast. It reacts. In hours, you see a celebrity wearing lime green. Within 3 days, SHEIN has 20 versions ready to buy. A fashion influencer wears a cutout dress. SHEIN offers a dozen replicas before the original sells out. But that's only half the story. Because SHEIN doesn't just react to culture. It produces it. It floods your feed. It engineers desire. And once it knows what you'll click, it floods its factories with orders. But here's the catch. SHEIN doesn't really have factories. Not in the traditional sense. It works with thousands of shadowy subcontractors, small hidden workshops spread across China. Some of them legal. Many of them not. Undercover journalists have captured footage from inside these spaces. What they found chilling. Workers in cramped, windowless rooms, sleeping next to sewing machines, stitching from early morning to well past midnight. 18-hour shifts. 1 day off per month, 4 cents per garment. Timed bathroom breaks, confiscated phones. No labor contracts. No labor contracts. No unions, no voice. If you make a mistake, your pay is cut. If you miss a deadline, your contract is canceled. You are replaceable, disposable, invisible. This isn't just fast fashion. It's algorithmic slavery, because SHEIN's engine doesn't stop. Its AI demands results. Its customers demand speed. And its factories. They employ or disappear. It gets darker. SHEIN's entire pricing structure is built on gambling. They produce micro batches, just 50 units at first. If it sells well, they scale up. If not, they abandon the design. This model protects the company but transfers all the risk to the worker. If a product flops, the factory eats the cost. The worker eats the time. The machine moves on. Even worse, many of these designs aren't original. Independent designers across the world have accused SHEIN of copying their work pixel for pixel, seam for seam. Small artists wake up to find their creations mass-produced, without credit, without payment, without warning. When they complain, they're ignored, or threatened, or drowned in legal silence. SHEIN denies wrongdoing, calls the similarities coincidence. But in some cases, the files leaked by former employees show exact design downloads, ripped directly from online portfolios and turned into profit overnight. SHEIN's algorithm doesn't care who made the art. It only cares who buys it. Then, there's the greenwashing. On its website, SHEIN proudly claims to care about sustainability. It says it's eco-conscious, that it minimizes waste, that it has strict supplier policies, but in reality, SHEIN produces more clothing than almost any brand on earth. Most of it is made from polyester and plastic. Most of it ends up in landfills, often in the global south. Tons of unsold clothes, dumped in deserts, burned in fields, polluting rivers. Places far from your doorstep, but not far from someone's home. SHEIN doesn't just sell clothes, it sells illusion. That you're saving money. That it's harmless. That it's smart. But here's the truth. Every $5 you save on that dress, someone pays it. In hours. In health. In hope, you might say, but other brands do this too, and you'd be right. Fast fashion is a broken system. But SHEIN isn't just part of it. It's the final form, the most efficient version. The fastest, cheapest, most powerful machine capitalism has ever stitched together. And like all machines, it doesn't care who it runs over. The saddest part, you don't even need the clothes. You don't wear half of them. You forget what you ordered by the time it arrives. It's not consumption. It's addiction. And they've studied how to trigger it. Flash sales, limited drops, influencer hauls, push notifications. You don't shop when you need to. You shop when they tell you to. Because the algorithm doesn't just watch your behavior. It shapes it, and what do we become in the process? People who confuse value with volume, who mistake ownership for identity, who build our closets like we build our feeds, endlessly scrolling, endlessly wanting. There is a cost, and it is paid in silence by workers whose names you'll never know, by rivers you'll never see, by designers you'll never credit, by landfills that will outlive your wardrobe. So next time you open the SHEIN app, pause and ask, is it really worth it? Or are you just paying a different kind of price? You keep scrolling. Another sale, another timer, another trend. The feeling isn't joy, it's urgency. Manufactured urgency. You don't want to miss out. And that's by design. Because every second you hesitate, SHEIN is already pushing out something newer, cheaper, SHEINER. It's not just fashion anymore, it's software. Clothing updated like apps, dropped, replaced, forgotten. The dress you bought last week is already out of style. Not because it changed, but because the algorithm said it did. This isn't accidental. It's engineered. A psychological feedback loop. Low prices reduce hesitation. Fast shipping reduces regret. And social media rewards the behavior. You post the haul, you get the likes. You validate the system. But this system doesn't just consume fabric. It consumes trust and identity. Ask yourself, do you even remember the last 5 things you ordered from SHEIN? Can you name them? Did you wear them more than once? What does it mean when clothing becomes disposable? When design becomes noise? When expression becomes automation? We used to dress to reflect who we were. Now we dress to reflect what's trending. And if the trend is unethical, unsustainable, and unstoppable, what does that say about us? Meanwhile, the workers keep sewing. Their names are not in the credits. Their faces are not on the website. But their labor is in every seam, every hem, every stitch you never think twice about. Some are teenagers, others are mothers, most are migrants. Few have contracts, none have protection. They don't know who you are. But they know the pressure to finish 500 pieces a day, to meet quotas calculated by machines, to accept pay cuts with no explanation, to live at work, to sleep under sewing tables, to keep quiet, because silence is rewarded. Complaints are punished. Whistleblowers disappear in one leaked message from a SHEIN supplier chat. A manager wrote, "Fall behind and we lose the contract." Push the team harder, harder, always harder, till something breaks, and when it does, replace it. Not just the fabric. The people there is always someone cheaper, someone more desperate. This is how a $5 shirt is made, not with style, but with strain, and still the brand grows. More countries, more markets, more influencers. In 2022, SHEIN became the most downloaded shopping app in the US, beating Amazon. Let that sink in. A Chinese company with no US headquarters, no retail stores, no legacy name, completely dominating the Western fashion industry. All through screens. That's not just commerce. That's a shift in power, and with power comes silence. Governments hesitate to regulate. Influencers hesitate to criticize. Consumers hesitate to look too closely, because once you know, you can't. Undash, no dot, and knowing means making choices. SHEIN knows this. That's why they tried to control the narrative. In 2023, when reports about worker abuse began to surface, SHEIN flew influencers to China for a curated factory tour. Beautiful lighting, happy workers, clean floors. A choreographed illusion. They posted vlogs, said the trip was eye-opening, said everything seemed fine, said they didn't see any mistreatment. Of course they didn't. They weren't supposed to. The real factories were not on the itinerary. This wasn't transparency. It was PR, and it worked. Because for every critical article, there were 10 TikToks showing SHEIN hauls. For every report of labor violations, there were reels of try-on videos captioned with, "Oh my God, it's so cheap." And in the end, the algorithm doesn't prioritize truth, it prioritizes engagement, so the clicks win, the company grows, and the silence deepens. But not everywhere. In recent years, independent designers have fought back. Artists have filed lawsuits. Advocates have exposed pollution data. Journalists have leaked internal documents. Workers have spoken anonymously to NGOs. The veil is cracking, and yet the sales continue. Because the problem isn't just SHEIN, it's the culture that made SHEIN possible. A culture of immediate gratification, of influencer economics, of digital detachment, of climate denial, of ethical fatigue. We don't want to think about exploitation when we shop. We want to think about outfits, and colors, and deals. And that's how exploitation survives. Not by hiding in shadows, but by standing right in front of us. Unchallenged, the $3 shirt, the $2 necklace, the $1 socks. They don't cost what you think. You just don't see the invoice. It's paid in unpaid labor, in copy-pasted art, in poisoned rivers, in landfills that won't biodegrade for centuries. And yet, we scroll. We add to cart. We smile at shipping confirmations. We shrug. But someday, we'll have to answer. What did we wear while the world was burning? What did we support while communities collapsed? What did we choose when we had a choice? You might say, I'm just one person. It won't matter, but SHEIN is built on that belief. That your $30 doesn't matter. That your silence won't change anything. That your click is harmless. But 43 million people downloaded the app last month. You're not one person. You're part of the system, and systems can change. It won't happen overnight, and it won't happen alone. But it starts here with knowledge, with discomfort, with questions, so the next time you see a $200 SHEIN haul video, pause and ask, what? Am I really looking at clothes or consequences? Maybe you'll still order. Maybe you won't. But either way, at least now, you'll know. Because behind every package, behind every limited time drop, behind every ridiculously cheap deal, there's a story, and this was one of them.